Beg your pardon, but could I trouble you to turn over your weapons? But we simply can't have anyone waving their weapons, please.
You watch yourself around, Mr. Gunderson.
There are a lot of rumors going around.
Beg your pardon, stranger, but I'm looking for someone. You ain't seen a young man with dark brown hair and a white hat on lately, have you? Ain't nobody got one darn piece of news about my boy. Not one lousy speck of information. Ain't got one Brahmin unaccounted for across a dozen ranches. But I'm here for an hour and my own son just up and disappears on me. My boy, Ted, he was right here. I didn't leave him but a minute. I told him to stay put while I talked some things over with the White Glove folks. He was never one to stay tied down to a spot, though. Gets that from his mother. Got most of my staff out looking for him now. I'd be out myself, but I keep hoping he'll show up back here. Of course, if he does that, I'll whoop him till his skinny hide turns to leather for putting me through this. But that don't mean I wouldn't be grateful. Yep, got a whole... Used to just have the one ranch, but land was easy to grab before the soldiers moved in. Before I knew it, I was running one of the biggest ranching operations east of California. Now, everywhere I go, folks I never even met shake my hand and call me Mr. Gunderson. Don't quite know what to make of that. That's between me and the White Glove Society. But let's just say they control the food supply around here, and I got lots of food to give. But that ain't as welcome as you might think. I'd be more than happy to have you. Heck, I'll hire anybody with a pair of legs and at least one good eye at this point. There'd be a lot of money in it for you if you can get him back to me safe. And if he ain't, you can bet I'll pay for the names of the sons of bitches responsible. That's what they call themselves, the folk that run this place. They're the ones dressed all fancy with their bow ties and shiny dresses. Some of them got masks, too. Real hard to trust folks like that. A couple of them show their faces, and that's who I do my business with. I don't talk to none of the other ones. Made me a special arrangement with the hotel. They want to do business with me, they got to play by my rules. A lot of people out there resent success. Might want to take a swipe at me. This makes them think twice. If I'd have been thinking, though, I'd have had him watching my boy instead. Then none of this would have happened. I'll be here.
About the White Glove Society. I heard they used to be tribals.
I've heard that security... They must have spent a fortune renovating this place. Hey, any idea how somebody get...
Welcome to Top Shelf. The drinks cost twice as much during happy hour, but they draw twice the attention, too.
Into the White...
What can I get you?
The Glove Society?
Years in advance.
Have to know somebody?
I know Benny was murdered, but if you ask me, the real crime was that checkered jacket.
I've heard you have to make reservations at the Gourmand years in
You mustn't
advance.
ask why we wear our masks. We are forbidden to speak of it.
To eat at the Gourmand is to spoil the palate. I can't bring myself to eat anywhere else.
Those masks make me nervous. Is there
You
something
watch
wrong with their
yourself around,
faces?
Mr. Gunderson.
Brim has a new sheriff. That should keep the powder gangers away.
I'm not really gambling. I'm just hoping to be seen here. People will think I'm rich.
Humbly at your... Is there any...
I love the masks. It's like being at a fancy ball.
Those masks make me nervous. Is there something wrong with their face?
How may I be of service, sir? No, not from the likes of you, I'm afraid. I don't think you'd have the stomach for it. Better look elsewhere. My, such a popular question. I suppose it is only natural to see us and wonder what it is that makes us special. The White Glove Society has only just made itself known to the public, of course, but our pedigree was established over generations. Were we always so refined? I'd be lying if I said yes. But I've always felt we were destined for a place atop modern society. And now, here we are. Not everyone can wear the finest clothes and eat the finest foods, obviously. That's just the reality we live in. But surely we can agree that the most tasteful, sophisticated people are the most deserving. And that's what the White Glove Society is all about.
Those masks make me nervous. Is there something wrong with their faces? Philippe has outdone himself again.
The food here is to die for.
Every evening,
No one
most of
cooks
the White
ramen
Glove
like Philippe.
Society sneaks away
I waited
somewhere.
months to get in here,
Well,
but the
the
place
price
isn't
isn't nearly
nearly
could
full.
buy a whole
You think the
run.
waiting list is
The
just
price
for
of a meal
everything?
like this buy a whole brown.
I'm in
I'd never
heaven.
make that trade.
managing the
I haven't had a meal like this in...
Philippe has
Well,
outdone
never,
himself
really.
again.
Hello.
Welcome to the... I do, but one can hardly call it work. I think of myself as a caretaker rather than a common laborer. I suppose it is a labor of love if it can be called labor at all. We at the White Glove Society are all responsible for maintaining the beauty and class of the Ultra-Luxe. And as its founder, I suppose it falls to me to decide how we go about it. This again? I thought this was all settled. I answered every one of that investigator's questions to his satisfaction and gave all the help I could. I know our reputation hasn't always been spotless, but that's all in the past now. How some people can't get over it is beyond me. For the last time, the White Glove Society has never and will never consume human flesh for any reason. It's written in the charter. Now, didn't I already tell you that we don't do that sort of thing? We do not engage in cannibalism here under any circumstances. Though we haven't always been the White Glove Society. There was another time, a dark time, when we went by a different name. But that's all changed now. We've evolved past such base impulses since settling into our new home. I've seen to it that those days are behind us. You disgust me. How dare you say such a filthy thing in my establishment? I ought to have you arrested. You'll kindly mind your tongue, or we shan't speak any further. There was an investigator who came through here last week. He'd been hired by a young man whose bride-to-be went missing during their stay here. Well, you can already guess what probably happened, can't you? It seems perfectly likely that she got cold feet and ran off. And that young groom just didn't have a clue, the poor dear. Why, yes, I think so, if he hasn't checked out yet, that is. I had our maitre d' Mortimer offer him a complimentary room for as long as it took for him to be satisfied. You see, the White Glove Society remains the very picture of courtesy, even in the face of such... A man? Well, then this can't be. I'm going to have a word with my staff about whether these people are found or not. Our guests simply must feel safe in... What else? Mr. Gunderson and I have been discussing his livestock. It's put us in a rather delicate position, you see, his coming here. Not that we aren't grateful for his generous offer. But our executive chef, Philippe, has transformed Brahmin steak into a delicacy. He really is a genius. But a delicacy is just that, delicate. If everyone can get it, it ceases to be a delicacy. It becomes a... And if the gourmand served staples, it would no longer draw the caliber of people it deserves. It would be a diner or... So as much as we'd all love for there to be enough steak for everyone, I'm afraid there are more important... Welcome to the
How do you fare? Our executive chef Philippe is the toast of New Vegas. His Brahmin Wellington is absolutely sublime.
Beg your pardon.
I've heard that Securitrons are nastier than ever.
How may I be of... Private investigator. This was about the missing bride. Such an awful thing. If I might pry, have you found something that will help his You are? Nothing so grim as his Ordinarily, we don't give out guest information, but I think given the circumstances, he'll want to speak with you. Let's see. He hasn't checked out yet. If you head back to the hotel rooms, his will be one floor directly above you after you exit the lobby. I hope we can put this... If you head back to the hotel... Ah, yes.
Let's kick this
Over
in
here! Come on. You like that?
Gonna fix this bitch. If I get ganged, shut up. A whiskey might kill the pain.
Come on. You like that? Had enough?
Feeling a little worse for wear. Tag me. You adopt a bag.
You like that? You like...
Dad.
I'm out of here.
Come on. Had enough? Come on!
Who are you? Matchbook? What about the man I gave it to? Oh my goodness me. They must know he was talking to someone on the inside. They'll be watching everyone closer now. I knew this was a mistake. Mortimer, if he realizes it was me the investigator was planning to meet, he'll have me killed. Yes, the White Glove Society strictly forbids eating humans, but we weren't always the White Glove Society. Mortimer and some of the others have regressed to the old ways. They've taken many people over the last few months, but always from Freeside or secluded places where they wouldn't be missed. It wasn't enough. Lately they've gone for tourists here on the Strip, even in the hotel. I guess that's the hazard of a cannibal becoming a gourmet. It's hard to please a refined palate. He's alive, as far as I know. They're trying to keep him fresh. Mortimer has special plans for him. The White Glove Society has a banquet every night at 7. It's in our private section. Mortimer wants to reintroduce humans into our cuisine. Since eating people is a crime we punish by death, he's going to do it in secret. After everyone has eaten it, he'll tell them. With no real way to punish everyone, in Mortimer's mind anyway, their minds will be open to the idea of eating people as... That may be true, but I wouldn't recommend it. He's built a reputation, and it isn't for calmness and impartiality. He's not what he looks like. They call him Hurricane Heck. The man built his empire by hiring mercenaries to drive off the competition. Lately, he's been attacking our Brahmin suppliers so he can take over their business. He's the sort to pound in a nail with a wrecking ball. If you give him the whole story on this, he'd be liable to raise the entire hotel. And God knows what he'd do to the rest of the Strip. They might, but to him, the legacy of returning to the old ways is worth his own life. I don't think he expects it, though. I don't either. Nothing is more important to the society than being on the cutting edge of New Vegas cuisine. Mortimer's idea will appeal to that need. He just has to get them over the taboo. I don't know exactly. I wasn't in on it. I think some of them have stopped trusting me. But you can bet they're keeping him near the gourmand. Our chef, Philippe, has an obsession with fresh ingredients. It'd be back in the members-only section, so you'll have to be careful. Don't be seen, and more importantly, don't let them see Ted in the open. It's guarded both at the lobby entrance and in the access tunnels leading from the main restaurant. I could sponsor you as an honorary member, but I don't know that you've achieved the level of status that would gain the Society's approval. Perhaps if you were to gain some more notoriety on the Strip, we could get you in. Otherwise, you'll have to find some way to get inside quietly. It won't be easy, and it'll be harder still to get them out. Well, they'll all be sampling pre-war wines before the meal. Maybe it's as simple as drugging them. Although that wouldn't stop any future kidnappings. You'd have to expose Mortimer, but he's going to confess anyway. What if his revelation were a lie? What if no one had eaten human flesh but him? If you could somehow replace Philippe in the kitchen and serve a convincing substitute instead, you could walk Ted right through the middle of that room after Mortimer speaks, and then he'd have some Philippe has been trying to approximate the taste of human flesh for years. He must have a recipe somewhere. Well...
Weapons on its last legs.
I've heard that Securitrons are nastier than ever.
You look positively famished. We simply can't. You won't. Pleasure doing business. Fair.
Welcome to the Ultralux. I do hope it exceeds your every expect. Why, yes, of course. The White Glove Society is the most... It's only natural that you'd need a sponsor from within the... Originally, we didn't allow anyone else in, you see. Founding members only. We thought And it has. But then I had the idea to allow honorary members. Lower in status, naturally. But it just makes people want to be us even more. And the right people could certainly do wonders for our image. Celebrities, philanthropists. I'm afraid you are a relative unknown. Certainly not the caliber of person we would consider for such... If you had more notoriety or clout here on the Strip, things would be different. People need to have heard of you, and you must be well... The answer is still no, I fear. You... Come back then, and we...
Those masks make me nervous. Is there something wrong with them?
Did you know this?
Have you seen that tower? Tell me... He's here? Listen, you do what you gotta do to find him. I'd send my men with you, but reckon you might need one of these. Take it. Just don't wave it around here.
Ah, what's that smell? Life at the top is immensely satisfying.
Gonna fix this dick.
You like that? Come on!
Welcome to the
Hello.
The torture is the least that brilliant fighters elsewhere, the better.
You, what do you think you're doing? The sooner you find yourself elsewhere, the better. Had enough!
Come on! You like that?
That how you wanna play? Wait, no, I'm out!
How?
Salute. Why are you standing still? Do you think the world waits for you while you stand there drooling? Oh, really? So despite your filthy... Well, what do you want? I'm very... Can't you see I'm busy? No! It'll ruin my ingredients! Can't you see I'm busy? Can't you see I'm busy? Can't you see I'm busy? What kind of harebrained I yell at people because I like... Oh, I see how it is. You think because my father walked out on us when I was 5, now I have... Or because my mother was a deranged chem fiend. Or because my sisters would lock me in a shipping crate when they... God, I'd forgotten about that. How could they do... I can't stay here. I need to be alone. Forget about the fucking banquet. You know what? You can do it. It won't fill the whole... Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Over here!
How do you fare?
Welcome to the...
Hello there. Greetings.
Loathsome wretch.
What do you need? Move yourself from my sight at once.
Hello there.
Salutations.
Remove yourself from my sight at once.
Greetings. Greetings.
What do you need?
Hello there.
How do you fare?
My daddy's gonna...
This weapon's on its last leg.
Had enough?
And then the fight started.
Come on.
And then the fight.
This is hopeless.
Serving up some hurt.
Whoa!
You like that?
You like that? Had enough?
Had enough?
I've got you now.
Come on! I've got something for you.
Think they ran?
Had enough? Howdy. There was some kind of massacre.
Help me out.
Looks like a party.
Had enough.
You like that?
Had enough?
Watch out!
Had enough?
You like that? Come on! Tell me good. Listen, you do what you gotta do to fight. Tell me. Tell me good news.
Salutations.
Oh my God. Ted, are you all right?
Quit your hollering. I'm fine.
You got... Now, I hope you didn't do no harm to whoever's responsible for this. Well, that does it. Hell, I'll put me together. They control the food. It's a goddamn monument to inhumanity. I don't like this place. Whole strip, really. But you got a point. They're already hell-bent on... All right. Well, I promised you... You done right by me.
You know, if you knew what
I
you were
appreciate
doing,
it.
I could have been out of there hours ago.
Let's deal.
The NCR's... Oh!
Hello?